You happy now? I know some of y'all was thinking this. 3 years, 6 months ago was my last haircut. Because 3 years, 6 months ago, I made a decision to regrow my hair. I did that with the sole purpose of showing you, queens, that if you decide to take care of yourself from the inside out, your crown will grow. So, why talk about it? Be about it. So I did it. I did. And, you know, we are in some unsettling times right now where you have what I call the opportunists having a platform, trying very feverishly to justify the mindset through the behaviors that are unbecoming. And some don't look like you, and some do. Because we cannot ignore the fact of this one variable. You realize how there is a small demographic of folks that do not want structure? And in turn, by not having structure, they don't want you to be at peace. But you're not going to hear that on the media. Of course you won't. Because right now what's going on, we are socially playing chess. You have those who are on the front lines because of directives, and you have those on the opposition based off of what they perceive as courage, but really it's nothing but fear. And they look just like you, and on both sides of the gamut. But I tried to convey this long ago because I felt it in my spirit. I discerned it, and I tried to reach the intended heart and mind at a level that was not confrontational. When I used the parable or the story of the ant and the grasshopper. But it's all methodical though. Everything is about cause and effect, isn't it? Look at how laws are being restructured. Legislation is being submitted. Things that you know about, things that you will feel. And you wonder why there is uneasiness going on. Why some people feel empowered to have a certain position, disseminate a certain narrative without any recourse, without any fear. You can say or do whatever without any inhibitions. Is it crystal clear now? 2020. Do you see it? Do you feel it? Because if you don't, you will. Now let me flip it. Some of you feel passionate about your life, and I commend you on that. Some of you feel that the position to take is to be flexible. You can. Some will take a position of, if it doesn't land on my doorstep, I ain't got nothing to do with it. And that's okay. Because what will happen is insight will be still offered. Free will still exist. Because you're going to do something. you're going to do something. That's why more than ever now, it is very important, family. You got to get real with your life. Now, we've all heard the saying, pressure bursts the pipe. And right now, you're seeing a restructuring on how we will look at commerce, how we live our lives. That's been going on since the beginning of this year. Have you noticed that now what was considered like a fantasy is now deemed as natural protocol? I remember there was a time we used to worry about spamming, adware. Little did we know that everything that's going on is setting up the vision of the World Wide Web. We'll all be connected indirectly and directly. Because if you want to maneuver on this planet, you're going to be in somebody's database. And I'm not saying this to cause unrest, to get under your skin. I'm just trying to make this, I'm just allowing you to take note. I thought about everything that was going on with the testing for the coronavirus, right? And you notice you had a lot of people that wanted to throw propaganda out there of saying it's a hoax. You had people out there that was trying to demarginalize what was going on. But meanwhile, our loved ones were still dying at massive rates. In a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, mortalities were still being reduced. And what made me wonder was this. What happens to all that data that is being processed? Where does it go? I mean, we already have certain protocols in place that when it comes to your finances, you have to have an ID. You have to pretty much give a pint of blood just to do anything. Then I thought about the testing going on. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody that went and got tested for, of course, you got to take care of your immune system. That's your greatest resource. But all that data being collected, and by them testing, don't they have your DNA now? Wouldn't they? It's got to go in the database somewhere. So when all this is being collected in one way or another, who's going to have access to this stuff? Because your medical history will come up. Your financial history will come up. Your fingerprints are going to come up. And then you have the way you maneuver, your algorithms of how you shop. This tool right here called a cell phone. Wherever it goes, as long as it passes a tower, it's noted. Yeah, I know. Some of y'all are thinking, well, that's why I got the privacy settings. Come on now. As long as you got an electronic device that has an iris, has a sensor, because it has more time to you than your your family, your peers. That is your proverbial RFID chip when you think about it. But let's not go deep into that because they knew this a long time ago. It's just stages. Now, let's fast forward. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of bad illustration of people that are in positions to serve the public. And unfortunately, these people took an oath to serve and protect. And I get it. If I had to put that belt on, if I had to wear that shield, if I took that oath, my end goal is to get home. And that's why you can't discredit those who legitimately are passionate about the occupation that they took on. Because not everybody can do it. But we do have some folks that will use that as an emotional platform to heal, to balance their insecurity by using the tools of their job. This is no different than what's found in your personal occupation. You know, you feel it every time you walk in the room. You get validation every time you hear said conversations cavalierly done. Does it make it right? Of course not. Because I would like to believe that your parents, guardian, grandparents didn't raise you that way. But it still gets condoned. And that's very sad. But you know what's really even more disappointing is the example as well as what we are showing and leaving behind for future generations. Because everything is archived. Just like this. This will live forever. And it's disappointing because how can we properly protect our babies if we're giving poor illustration for what adulthood is about? It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. When I saw what the media, because at the end of the day, the media is a business, allowed to be illustrated, I had to look at things objectively too. We live in a world where things are sensationalized. That's why the things you need to know are hard to find. And the things that disrespect you are splashed over the front page. You know, you would think that people that are in positions that have platforms would censor or not give said platforms to poor behavior. But we live in a trauma society. Remember back in the day, you would be alarmed when a video would surface and somebody was fighting. You would be alarmed when there was a video surfaced of someone being abused. Alarmed when you would see said person that is high, overdosing. We've gotten so conditioned now that People have gotten so cavalier that they'll post a video of someone taking their last breath before they put the cell phone down to try to save their life. Parents didn't raise you like that. But even if you weren't raised in a what is deemed as a family structured, I don't care if you came from a single parent home, you still know the reason for right or wrong. You still know it. And it's hard. It's really, really sad. Because what a lot of people don't realize is said bad behavior is making a lot of money for people. Because they're making money off of clickbait and advertisement. And guess what? It's noted through whatever device that you use to take in said content. It's part of your algorithm. That is why said certain advertisement shows up. Be mindful of this device called cell phone, because when you don't have it on, you think it's not on. Well, guess what? It listens to what you say. Well, I mean, we live in a post Alexa, Siri environment now. That's why when you cut on the internet and something you may have said in a conversation, you see said advertisement, because it's AI. Premeditated choice, so they say. Well, you might not do it now, but in case you do, I got this option for you. Why? Because AI is in the forefront now. Pretty soon, we're going to be at a point now that, I think it was the movie Minority Report. You're going to be in a shopping center somewhere, and you go by any type of device that's electronic, that has Wi-Fi connected. You walk past it, it identifies you. Now, I see the reason why they're going to do it is because that's going to zero out fraud. But it also is going to zero in guilt. Yeah, we saw you. We saw you with that stolen credit card. We got the beam footage. We got the cameras. We got cameras everywhere. And depending on how bad they want you, the case is already set. Just a matter of time before you stand in front of the judge and your freedom is being measured out. Let me get off of that. So, I was in a discussion yesterday, and they were talking about all the unfortunate looting that was going on in Minnesota, Minneapolis, I think. I'm not sure. I have to figure that part out. But, CNN, of course, they're right there. They're showing what they had, to the point where their own camera crew got arrested. And then you can't control the footage that is individually being recorded from the populace or the community, But it seems like we got our priorities backwards, fam. Backwards. And here's the sad thing about it. For example, you tear up your own community, right? You send in a message because of a tragedy. Now, it has zero impact on the business owner. He said, well, how does it have zero impact? They ain't got no business. But guess what? They got business insurance. That said business might not have been doing good at all, but because You've destroyed the establishment. Now the insurance has to pay out, and it will pay out. So guess what? They take that out of your community, rebuild somewhere else. That's one less option that you have. And now you're going to have to make a decision. Do I commute to where that new location is, or do I give an opportunity to the competition? And then they're wondering why gentrification occurs. They wonder why so many locations that once were minority historically don't. It just makes me wonder that in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, if said communities were minority owned, will we have the same passion? Or will we be compassionate? Now, granted, I know some of y'all are going to be passionate about this. You're going to be like, well, Gerald, you know what? They didn't support my neighborhood anyway, so I'm glad that they're gone. But if you don't own the property on which that building stood on, somebody's going to come right in and maybe continue the same bad behavior that the previous establishment had. Unless someone steps up that looks like you and says, look, you know what? We're doing it this way. But let's be honest. How often do we support our own? I'll do you one better. Why do we not? Queens, please comment in the bottom. Why don't we have minority-owned beauty supply stores? Why do they not exist when your customer base is you? Your nail salons. Shouldn't we have that on lock? Why? Now, I know some of y'all going to be saying, well, Gerald, you know, I hear what you're saying. But the bureaucracy of getting said business, there's a lot of red tape you got to go through. And I would just prefer to do it at my own home, and in the kitchen or wherever you decide to set up shop. You could do that. You could do that. But there's no excuse now that we live in a technological age where social media is, you can be your own ad agency. You can be your own, well, in regards to marketing. You have a certain brand that you promote. Social media all day is the best representation, just as well as non-support. You realize how much impact a bad comment may have on someone's business? So, 2020. Do you like what you see? If you don't, what are you going to do to change it? But it cannot happen until you decide to change the things that you don't need first. Because right now you're going to have a lot of people that are going to make a whole lot of excuses and ain't going to do shit. And here's one more thing too. We cannot ignore Minnesota, Flint, Dallas, What was the other one? There was another one. It's on the tip of my tongue. Can't think of it. But, oh, yeah, Berkeley, California. Within the last 5 years. Because of all these unnecessary shootings. But here's something that the media don't talk about. But it caught my eye. Oh, of course, DC, home. Because I remember a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, I remember they had that skirmish on 14th and Pennsylvania Ave. No, 14th and K Street. Was it K? It was I Street. You had a lot of people that set out to come to your neighborhoods with the sole intent of destroying it. To proverbially get a piece of the action. And you know what they did? They attacked your economics and went back to laugh at it in the suburbs. Why are we not talking about that? You're not going to see people marching down Rodeo Drive. You're not going to see people protesting downtown Manhattan. You're not going to see that. It will never happen. But the areas that are deemed disenfranchised, they already see you as expendable. And as long as they know that you don't care about you, they're going to keep using those same tricks and tactics till you do. Please, family, take care of yourself, starting from the inside out. Purge the crap that don't enhance your growth. Keep it moving. I mean, I think this is the sentiment that everybody feels. You're going to have to police yourself. You're going to have that conversation with yourself and ask yourself, what do I need? And whatever that I do need, what do I need to do to obtain it? And at what cost? People won't do that. They'll do it when their back's to the wall. And sometimes that's what it takes. Until you get tired of being tired. But as long as I got air in my lungs, I'm praying for your safety. I'm praying for your health. And I'm praying for your dreams. But I can't do the work because I have to do mine. If you're feeling what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up. I do it for you.